And here we have come to the most important piece of our collection, a triad of paintings made by Zoe Zos Aya, a facilitator of creative connections. And in her new project, Maastricht Myths, her aim is to create myths in her hometown. For this project, she has developed the research Forging a Feminine Framework, in which she explores the notions of femininity and establish a framework to help her write the myths in the city. This triad of paintings is part of the research in which she explores the archetypes. What archetypes, you may ask? Well, I will answer that for you. Here, first we have the maiden, then the mother, and then the crone. You know these archetypes by many, many names. For example, creation, preservation, and destruction, or rebirth, life, and death. So let's start with the maiden, the beginning, creation, birth. The painting is a very full painting with a lot of happening on the page. There's no clear points that you are pulled to with your eye, and there are almost these like little suns popping out all over the canvas. The second painting, the mother, here we do have a very obvious pull and center of the painting. The paint is dripping down the canvas almost in a painful way. The artist tried to signify the sacrifice that also goes into committing to an idea, where the maiden represents the beginning and the claiming and the making of a choice. The mother then has to stand by the choice and take responsibility for the choices that she has made so far. At our final painting in the series, which is the Crone. With this work, the artist, by layering different levels of black, gray, and purple, created a almost void-like experience. While here is happening a lot, here there's one clear choice being made, there you're not quite sure what you're looking at. And that's exactly the essence of the crone, because the crone encompasses everything. The crone is everywhere. The crone is simultaneously everything and nothing at the same time. Now, we brought out Zoe herself to tell in her own words what is so important about her research. I liked getting physical, and I liked not going in it with an idea and just letting my hands speak for themselves. There's the dance and the natural shapes, some color that's rubbed off on it while traveling. I think it makes the archetype that's mainly obviously also just a concept, something that resides in the mind, into something real and physical that you can hold and have a reaction to. And I know I want to create workshops based on myth writing, which is a very direct, clear discipline. I'm really thinking about how can I also incorporate this interdisciplinarity even into the workshops that are solely around myth writing. Because I think it has added value to not only think with your mind, but also think with your hands. I really needed this research to feel secure into representing the archetypes as well. How am I gonna host workshops about these archetypes without truly intimately knowing them myself? I noticed during this research is that the moment I started engaging with the triple goddess and with the archetypes, I found it everywhere. It was all around me. Unconsciously, even though the goddess throughout history, and especially after the rise of patriarchal religions, has been repressed, she has still unconsciously manifested itself all throughout our culture. And it's so beautiful because I think anybody who becomes more aware of this archetype and of this cycle will also start seeing it everywhere. the power of three, the power of the beginning, the middle, and the end, the power of stories. And the second part of that research was researching methods, because that's eventually what I'm creating, a new method to write and to create myths around. And there are tons of methods that already do this. The main two that I focused on were the Elements Method by Helmut Woudenberg and then the Hero's Journey by Joseph Campbell. I took these two methods and researched them. On the one hand, I got really familiar with other practices that create stories and create characters. On the other hand, I got the privilege to adapting these for my own purpose. So the first methods, the elements, what I found particularly accessible about it was that you basically with one view could see, oh, what is each element about? And that's what I wanted to do for my elements. So I adapted the table to not be about fire, water, earth, and air, but to be about the crone, the mother, and the maiden. Then the adaptation of the hero's journey into the goddess journey, I think this is at this point the culmination of my work so far. I see many opportunities to further explore a lot of the writings that I did, go in depth of each step of the cycle, and basically write another paper for each step if I had the time. Because I think I found a source, I found a well of potential that is continuously going to be able to be pulled from in the next phases of my project, where now maybe all I did was to get really, really familiar with the assumptions surrounding the archetype. And the next step is to also see when I bring this to the people, what they will come up with. For me, it's very important that it's an accessible method. Obviously, I'm working surrounding the feminine, and it's important for me to empower women and the matriarch through my process. But eventually, I would like to see a world where everybody can engage with the goddess's journey and these archetypes, because that's the point of archetypes. They are hidden within all of us. And I believe leaning more into the cyclical nature and beauty and regenerative power of the goddess and the three archetypes can really help society form a more holistic perspective on life, death, and rebirth, and the way that we are constantly reinventing ourselves.